Pounders, welcome back. Today we have a podcast style stream for you, doing a little ADP risers and fallers with our lead data analyst and head of visuals, Billy Jones. Billy, welcome to the live stream.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Every time I come, I get a new title. So I'm down to just continue to come on. Eventually, I'll be a doctor.
It's the, oh, hey, you just keep adding it to the resume, and then someday you're just gonna be chief executive data analyst and head of visuals. It's gonna be crazy. But how you been doing? How are the BBMs going? What's your progress been like that, or have you been attacking those +1 contests like weekly winners and marathons?
I've been enjoying some like the other contests that have coming out. They had like the Hound Dog, the Pug. Those are really advantageous in terms of structure. When you like the BBM is such like a lottery style that it's tough to have really any hope in that. That's kind of it's such 113, 116. That's tough. Whereas these other tournaments are 115, 16 in the playoffs, and you're like, wow, I actually have a chance to get through there. So those
in
are like
this lifetime.
In this lifetime, yes, this year maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 2 out of 12, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5 for the Pug. Curious, the Hound Dog allowed, was it 30 seconds and then 8 hours? Did you get in any slows before contest fill?
No, I should have, because I was doing them really late at night and I was tired. But it was that was a good one too. So this was 3x12, and that was 6x5. So for people looking to play like lower to mid stakes, but also have like a more like reasonable structure, these were exactly that. I hope they keep throwing more of these out there, maybe with a little bit increased price on them. But yeah, these are really cool.
Yes. Kind of like, what was that contest in the big board? It was the War Room, $25 contest, 3 out of 12, like 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, something like that. Those are perfect. You keep those running all summer long, and you're gonna have some happy drafters. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I agree. I slipped into some slows right before it filled. I forgot to do that I wanted to do it for the schnauz. I just wanted to draft those. So sometimes you just get the itch and you just jump right into the draft room. So I can't blame you for that. But other news, the overlay, the website, it's coming tonight. It's going to be dropped at some point tonight. Josh he's on that West Coast time. So never in a rush, 3 hours behind. No, I'm just kidding, Josh. I'm just kidding. But awesome page. There's something for everyone, even a free portion of sort of what we do here. But ADP risers and fallers is going to be all you need to do is create an account for free. 7-day movement, 30-day movement. You could also just get all the players and sort by 7-day, 30-day for risers and fallers. Really helpful information, especially if you step away for a couple days and you want to know which way players are trending. Super, super helpful. But let's fly right into the top risers. And we skipped last week. We went on a little hiatus, and now we have ADPs since May 18th. You want to take it away with the QBs, Billy?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of similar names that we had seen previously. What's interesting, like on the tweet that I put these out on, there is also a version of this chart that is from like the second day of the contest, and that has actually a negative player on the top 5, like in terms of risers, just because of in general the movement against quarterbacks is going down. So it's nice to see some like the whole list of like 5 guys that are going in the positive direction here. I think that and it's interesting that it's 2 guys at the top. I mean, Jaden Daniels and Josh Allen are way up in the draft board, and they saw some positive steam. So that is really curious.
Yeah. So even Bo Nix a little bit in the middle round, moving up a pick. And is this due to people just pulling up, going for their correlation with Terry? Josh Allen, I think, is cheap anyways. Like, oh God, if you're confident you can beat people in the middle and late rounds, Josh Allen at 34 is pretty ridiculous to me. Same thing with Lamar. Do you have a little more hesitancy with Daniels at 42 when you have Lamar and Josh Allen so close by?
Yeah, I mean, he is very much being drafted in like the super elite tier, and while he he deserves to be that way. But they're talking about
Yeah.
guys who've done it for like the better part of a decade, and now he's in year two. What happened? I'm not saying he's going to get figured out, but
Right.
they hit the ascension. We kind of assumed this way from CJ Stroud, and they're different players, different style guys,
Right.
but it's very possible it's not. I think what's hard with Daniels is like I do want to stack him, but I'm not like as excited about Debo. So you have to take Terry up front and then hope you get Daniels on the like kind of on the turn
Right.
on the other side. So I think that's what's harder about him. But he's got he runs, so it's not really that big a deal.
Right. Right. Extremely clutch player last year. Like what was it? On fourth down, he's in like the 80%, maybe higher. He absolutely ran real hot, and then obviously had more carries in the red zone than B Rob or within the five. It's just he's clutch. They want the ball in his hands when it's time to score. So can't expect a whole lot different, I guess. It just seems a little expensive based on those two QBs that go just ahead of him, not even a full round. But Bryce Young up 3 picks and Dak getting a little bump as well. And for you guys that are new, Billy does weight the ADPs. So these aren't the biggest ADP risers, but when you weight them based on where they go, the percent, this is how he scales it. And I love this option. See, we do it the other way on the website, just pure ADP. I would love to also add the way you have it here too. It's very important. Like here, CMC, here's a clear one. He moved up 1.9 picks, but that's 15% based on where he was going from 12.5 to 10.6.
Yeah, for sure. And so this is one thing I did tweak this week was the draft capital. So I scaled. So draft capital is essentially that you think about a cost per every single pick in the draft. And the first pick is more expensive than the last pick. So I've adjusted those to like look like we think of them in dollars, and where the number one pick is $100 and the last pick is $0 is kind of the assumption. It's not linear. It does kind of go on a curve down. But I think it's an interesting way to think of these players in terms of cost because we think of them in the ADP, and that's in one way. But like money is also we all have to spend money, so I think it's an interesting way to kind of translate that.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
We'll contextualize a little bit for the
Mhm.
people watching. CMC up. What are you doing with CMC this year? Are you just gonna believe the positive news, sort of like we did last year, and then we'll just all not be surprised when
Yeah,
we get rug pulled? Do we just have to draft him here?
I don't know. Like, what is like the reasonable? Is the responsible thing as a drafter to draft him now because it's going to theoretically be cheaper because he's only going to continue to move up, or is the more responsible thing to be like if he's the league winner, he's the league winner. It doesn't matter when I draft him. So wait and get
Right.
the guy later, like because you're not really getting any like maybe you get some slightly different combos now at the end of
Mhm.
the first round, but yeah, I'm not sure what to do with him because I'm like in general not an early round running back drafter. He's the scary profile in the first round, so I haven't really dipped into it yet. What are you doing?
You know, I have been drafting him early contest because I kind of expected the rise because of the positive news. However, at 10.6, I'm taking him when I think I can get a combination that I otherwise wouldn't be able to due to ADP fall. Other than that, I I'm going Genty over CMC right now, so I'm not flipping him over the next RB in line. I still like Achane at like 18. Like Achane sliding to like the Lad McConkey range. I like some of these RBs that go a little bit later. So give me the receiver there. Um, and I'm okay with even pulling up HN the second round too.
So it goes like so backwards goes CMC at 10-6, then Amon Ra, Malik Neighbors, and then Ashton Genty. Do you think he's going to move ahead of those two receivers?
Yeah, he probably will. He probably will. Yeah. I mean, Neighbors, a little bit of injury news. Not that it's a whole lot. He's been dealing with this since college. He's been playing on it. It's more so, it seems like maintenance, but he has fallen in rooms because of the little red underdog note. It's
Mm-hmm.
classic. It happens every year. So scoop when you can get different combos with that. And you said Puka was the next one.
Neighbors. It goes
Neighbor,
Neighbors and Amon Ra.
Neighbors and Amon Ra. Amon Ra is is tough for me. See, I'd probably just go the receiver there because I'm very comfortable with some of these guys in round 2.
Mhm.
K-My says CMC will feed families this year. Putting him after Genti is jail worthy. we're gonna find out together, my friend. The thing is, if you are going to fade someone like CMC, what are you doing to make the whole equation make sense, right? Are you drafting more Garendo? Is it more Kittle? Which one is it? Is it the San Fran offense is going to take a step back and you're low on Purdy, you're low on CMC? Correlating that full take, I think, is something that's important instead of like, I'm going to fade this one player and just pray everything else just falls in line. I like to double down and find ways to be double right in those scenarios.
Yeah, for sure. So the other running backs here, interesting moves as well. Like this running back is on this chart. It has the most significant movement. Jalen Wright, people figured out he's likely to be the running back too. That's interesting. Or maybe plays a lot of like primary running back if you have Achane playing receiver, and Will Shipley kind of just going to trickle up the board. That's actually kind of a full round move there, so that's interesting. And Justice Hill, same kind of concept, late round RB2. You know who he is at this point.
I want to say the Will Shipley thing is probably ETR related, just because of the note. It's like, hey, if Barkley goes down, it's probably Will Shipley. Like, oh, that sounds pretty good. But if Barkley doesn't go down, like, yeah, you're probably getting like 60 fantasy points here, which in that range, you don't really care. Like, you're shooting for upside. So I do get that. And I have been mixing in Shipley. How about you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's just like easy leverage against Saquon, but you're so right. There's no iteration of this where Will Shipley wins that job. It is about as contingency as it gets.
Right. Absolutely. But you feel like you have to have like your 8% because God forbid, like Barkley does go down or he goes down early. Like someone that goes that late in drafts, if he could be putting up even like RB3 numbers, is going to be a really good value for your team. But Justice Hill is another one that, man, I guess he's going to have the role, like especially when they're playing from behind because Henry plays 50% of snaps. But is there enough upside for Justice Hill here? Like, even if Henry goes down, right? You're expecting the next guy to step up and sort of take first and second down. Still, maybe Justice Hill gets some of those, but it's not like he's the guaranteed heir to all those touches in Baltimore. What do you think about Justice Hill?
Yeah, I think the guy Dowan said it perfectly in the chat. Like, there isn't really a situation where you see like Justice Hill taking the full job. He's gonna get his role, but he's like, if you're on drafting a running back room that needs some like volume, just low end volume, maybe 7-point games, like he's gonna help you with that until you get some of your like younger running back bets that kind of take the role over if you're drafting rookies or something like that. So it's like he functionally fits a certain like build requirement, and it's at a cheap price. So I understand why he's kind of like trickling up the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like discount Rashad White, I guess.
Exactly.
Pacheco. Are you a Pacheco believer in this rise here? Getting some good news out of camp, putting on some healthy weight, and 3.4 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt is the other one that is threatening the job. There's 4 of them, right? But is it the olds? Is it Pacheco? Is it the rookie they drafted? How are you playing this backfield?
I think this is one like to intently watch, like the coach speak and the news as it comes out, because right now you don't have to. I think Pacheco's a little expensive if he's not the guy, because he wasn't at the end of last year. But if he is the guy, then he's going to probably be a smash. So like, I don't know. It's interesting that they didn't invest any in this like running back room this offseason. I would have expected that, but we'll see. Like, what do you think?
It's another one where it's like, man, the coach speak is good. So I'm going to draft it while the coach speak is good, because a player like this in this range on this type of offense can rise pretty far up. And I don't want to be drafting him there. So I'll bite the bullet and I'll draft him now in the 80s instead of, if we keep getting positive news, it's like, oh, now you have to get him in the 60s it's not going to be nearly as fun. So, is there a world in which like Kareem Hunt just like wins the job, and we know this before the season starts? That's just such a hard thing for me to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Kareem. I think it becomes one of these things where there's just no, like Pacheco goes down and Kareem Hunt just like maybe comes a little bit up, but he's not like gonna be like a full flippening. I don't think is what we're gonna see.
I mean, even not even just ADPs. I'm just talking about like like what are the chances that Pacheco is just so bad he's worse than Kareem Hunt at where he currently is right now? I understand last year he came back from injury and no one gave him the break of like having that injury, missing that amount of time. It's like, oh, Kareem Hunt still had the job. Like, I don't fully believe that. So, I'll be scooping him right now. The coach
Mhm.
speaks good, and it's the Chiefs. Like, they're gonna be putting up some points. Hopefully more than last year. George Kittle, San Fran, first tight end on the board with a little 2.7% rise based on his ADP. Are you mixing in Kittle?
A little bit, yeah. I love Kittle like the cheapest of the elite. I lump him in with the elite tight ends for sure, especially from like a ceiling in any individual game.
Absolutely.
Um, Debo leaves. He wasn't overly significant last year, but I think that Kittle similar-ish type of space kind of draw him up specific type of touches. I don't see like a reason why you'd expect anything less from him. And he's an absolute like dog. You want to root for him, like him on your roster. I think it's interesting that the tight ends in general didn't move a ton
Mm,
upwards. Like you see the most is like 2.7% of their overall ADP. Everyone's like under like one or two picks. So like in general, people aren't rushing to get tight ends right now.
right.
They're kind of building elsewhere. But he's someone who he's just like sits on the board like there's no other tight end to draft. And if you're trying to draft for ceiling, like he's got all of that.
And I love that point. His single game ceiling is God. It might be higher than Trey McBride's. Like, and you're getting him in the 50s, so he can make a splash uh, during any game. And yeah, you don't have Debo scooping in the middle of the field, getting those yards after catch type dump offs. So Kittle could be a big one this year. I don't have enough. Like I'll admit it. And maybe this is because I'm going too many RBs early that I'm not able to structurally get myself to draft tight end in this spot. But Kittle here in the 50s seems really good, and the market likes him. He rose
Mm-hmm.
a pick and a half. So Juwan Johnson, I just want to skip to him real quick. Foster Moreau's missing the offseason program so far with a knee injury, and Juwan Johnson's still like pretty full time, like 70% snap type guy. But if you're getting like 90% snaps to start the year, even like, man, Juwan goes in a great spot for a third tight end panic.
Yeah, I've loved the idea of Jawan Johnson for years. Right, he's a converted receiver,
I know.
so and someone who, if he does get full run, he's going to be a fantasy impact player. And he's had like notable moments in fantasy playoffs. I think he's been on multiple like
Yeah.
EVM winners or impactful or something like
2
that.
years ago, he was tight end 1 in the finals.
Yeah, wild. So like, I mean, you could do way uglier things than like backstack like Saints QB and Juwan Johnson, like, and like that's not that bad. Or just kind of just panic pick him yourself individually. But yeah, I like the profile as like a receiving tight end.
Yeah. And always a candidate for 4 to 5 touchdowns a year, which that's great for that range. Tie it in a bow, your tight end room there with the third tight end, Juwan
Mm-hmm.
Johnson right now. Evan Ingram, up a couple picks, nothing major, like you said. Yeah, what do you think about Ingram, the rise, and then the wide receiver 2 on this team? Who's it gonna be?
Evan Ingram.
There it is.
Like I think that it fits so well with what they need.
Yep.
I like the idea of Evan Ingram a lot. As if he can just run into some touchdowns, he's always had like a fair amount of targets.
Yep.
And Bo Nix likes to dump it down, so he does. He kind of fits exactly what this offense needs. And if you're in a range where you're like, this is just like kind of murky, or it's like the beginning of like the good, not great tight end. So you're like, do I want to invest in these guys? I think he's actually got realistically like top 5 tight end upside. So I like him, and you can pair him with Bo Nix, who is exciting as well.
Yeah, and well, Bo Nix is finally at a price where it's like, okay, we can do this. He's out of the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
where I don't think he did too much during the big board, but his price in the big board was criminally low. But I agree on the Ingram take. He can be like a possession type tight end, sort of like a discount Trey McBride discount. That'd be extreme, but more like a discount Hawkinson, who goes right before him about
Mm-hmm.
25 picks. Sanders, and these are both negligible. Just as people bring in their late 3 tight end builds, Sanders, Theo Johnson, players that we expect them to be the tight end 1 on their team. However, Carolina resigns Tremble, Theo Johnson. I probably like Theo Johnson a little more than Sanders, but it's a toss up. I'm mixing both of these guys into my lineups. I'll go QB first with correlation. I'll go if there's a playoff stack, and then I'll go Theo Johnson over Sanders.
I think this is a function of also like the time of the draft season, where at the late parts of the draft, there's not really a ton of like known commodities to be picking, but tight ends are pretty known in terms of what they're going to be. So these kind of guys that you're like, okay, tight end 1's on their team, I'll slap it on and feel comfortable with it.
I agree. Yeah, they're just completely free right now too, and we've seen tight ends, especially cheap ones, hit in a big way late. Now, year 2 guys, not a bad click at all. Receivers, and we're getting some early guys in here, which is nice. J-Mo, Rice, Pickens, and Josh Downs. Are you in on J-Mo? The coach speak's been very positive.
Yeah, I mean, like JMO's got everything aligning for him to just go like through the roof in terms of ADP. It's like week 17 matchup is premium, and then you also have 3 first-round picks that are all going to try to chase him in terms of stacking. It's unbelievable coach speak. He's kind of like entering his prime, so really exciting for like all of that. But still think he is like the wide receiver too. And like he's not going to be the volume guy on this team. I don't think.
Right.
Still think that's going to be Amon-Ra. So. Maybe he's like the perfect veteran best ball guy that like what is the true ceiling. But I understand why this is all happening. And then do
I
you think
agree
there's a
that
lot more?
well, the talent's elite, right? My worry is you have a new OC come in, and that OC actually schemes up Sam Laporta a little more than JMO. But JMO's going to be the field stretcher. He's just always going to be a best ball type pick, someone that you can just rely on hitting the lineup. And if you ever get into the finals and you have JMO there, you're feeling very good, especially with the matchup as well. So I think it's a little expensive for the type of player, but if you can build around him, maybe with some more high floor type players, and then you bring in JMO, who's going to be high ceiling, but also probably have those games where he puts up 3-4 points. I think it's all how you build it, but definitely someone I want in best ball.
I can't imagine that he's going to go. Well, I mean, who knows? But rise ahead of Devonta Smith, Travis Hunter, DJ Moore. Like he's all 4 picks within those guys. Like that's like pretty expensive receivers we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how much more of like a ceiling is there in this ADP?
Right. And is it because people are pulling him up to go with Jefferson teams, right? Is that part of the reason why he's rising? Let me
It's
pull up
all
the
of it
draft
now.
board.
So like he's now sitting at what is it? Late round
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
So you have guys like Amon-Ra at one side, you got Jefferson at one side, you got Gibbs sitting right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there are people going JMO over. I don't mind technically JMO even over over Travis Hunter, but I do like some of the guys you named, like DJ Moore. I think we all saw him slide a little too far, and now people are correcting themselves. But yeah, it's a best ball type click. It's tough to fade fully on someone like that. Rice continues to move up. He's up another 2 picks, about 7%. Up to pick 28. He's trending towards the 2-3 turn. How far are we drafting Rice up the board?
I mean, 2-3 turn probably,
Yeah.
and then you keep doing it. Like I think that when I did my first cut, I know that I owe people like my projections. It's one of the things that I'm behind on. Where like redoing my entire house, so like that's a fair amount of work to redo the whole electrical. But anyways, not going to talk about that right now. But so I think Rashi Rice, when I did my initial cut, like you do like think about if he gets like some what of him, like he had like a 30% target share last year, like when he was playing those first couple games, and so I think that he could be awesome. So I struggle with the like my projections brain was like he's going to be like a top 5 receiver. So but then like yeah, so like I think he's got a profile to chase. He's exciting. Yeah, probably 2-3 turn.
We also saw that last year, like Kelsey took another step backwards, which was really good for Rice. So yeah, it's likely he's passing Terry McLaurin probably today. He's 0.1 away, and then he's going to pass Marv. I would draft him over Marv today, as it is, anyways. Garrett Wilson,
And
getting
probably
some
not
good.
Garrett Wilson, because Garrett
Yeah,
Wilson's got
right.
like decent name value. But I do think I'm gonna projections wise, I think he'd project over Garrett Wilson. The
Yeah,
Jets will project low in terms of pass volume. The Chiefs will project high in terms of pass volume. Just like that, simply, he's probably going to be projected for a lot more targets.
yeah, yeah. I see it pretty similar to you. I would still keep him behind Garrett Wilson, but man, if like we're talking like he never got hurt last year, he would be in the first round. He'd be somewhere in the first round, probably right behind Nico or right in front of Nico. Amon-Ra, like who knows where he would have ended up, but it was trending that way. It is positive though that you saw Kelsey take a step back last year. George Pickens up another 3 picks. He's going to be in the 40s soon. Like it's going to happen. It's a matter of when. Are you drafting him all the way up the board here?
I think you kind of have to. I actually looking at my exposures. Shout out best ball overlay. I haven't picked him yet. Probably should fix that. I think that reason I'm doing that is because I'm slamming Jalen Waddle right now. But
Hell yeah.
I
Also a
think
riser.
that yeah, he's not on like he's a riser, but you can see here there's a lot of wide receiver risers, and it's kind of like wide receiver riser season. It's puppy season. So wide receivers are screaming up the board. But yeah, no, I think that Pickens is like a profile to chase for sure. I think that with all of these guys starting, I don't think it's going to be as much as you see here though, like through the next couple of weeks, because I think we saw a lot of guys price up pretty quickly over the last week, 2 weeks or so.
I like the Waddle show too, and I'm curious if we pull up. You guys will have access to this tonight. We promise. Wow, Waddle actually the 30 days only 1.5 spots, which is very surprising. He's been in this 57, went up to 55, down to 57.8. It's been all within like 2.2 picks, which is crazy. And again, he's one that we've been talking about it. Like the Hill stuff alone makes you want to draft more Waddle. And now Waddle looks good in camp, and it shouldn't really surprise anybody. But Pickens, Waddle, I like them both. I like them both in that range. Now, the next player is someone that I just cannot get myself to click. I just can't do it. I don't see it. I'm okay being wrong here, but Diami Brown moving up to pick 198, and he's still going to rise. I will not deny that. Like, people love him. He's getting steamed from other websites. He's going to rise more. Are you mixing him in? Are you adding him when it's correlated? What are you doing with Diami?
No, like I haven't done it. It's not part of my plan. Like I
Okay.
guess like if I have to like break, I just don't know why. Like if I'm gonna draft Trevor Lawrence, I don't really think that I'm gonna do it without either of the two early receivers.
Mm.
So then then I'm not. If I have one of the two of them, like, and I really don't get I try to pride myself on not being like too in a bad shape for wide receivers when I draft. So like I just don't feel like you have to like chase him. Um, I don't know. I don't think he's that good, but there's also like the wide receiver three on a potentially explosive offense. There is some utility
Mm.
there, I guess. So
Yeah.
I can understand the thesis. It's not been a part of my plan though.
Yeah. And there's a couple different ways I look at it. He was the worst Brown on his team last year. Like they they chose to keep Noah Brown over Diami. There's just a couple. There's a couple things there. Like, no season has he ever flashed like more than one game. Let me see what we have here for numbers. It's not great. It's not like he's an X like round 1 type guy either. We're talking about like a round 3 guy a couple of years back. Like, we're talking about his best season was 30 catches. Like, I don't see it. He's not an end zone
Mhm.
guy. Who's selling snow to the snowman? I don't know who it is. I can't get there though. Give me Parker Washington. Fuck. Like, anybody there. And he's probably going to be splitting with Parker Washington. Oh, God. Tough.
Yeah, watch him like watch Diami Brown not make the team. Like he's like could theoretically be like that bad of a player. And it's not. It's in the range of outcomes.
Well, how much did he get for his contract?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me pull it up. He probably got overpaid because all free agents got overpaid. He got 1 year, 10 mil. Like, he definitely got overpaid. It's crazy. Yeah, he's gonna make the team, but everyone got
It's
overpaid
more of
though.
like
Dude,
he's not that good though, I think is the point. Like
yeah.
is what I'm trying to make.
There's other picks. Like, give me AD. Shit, give me AD Mitchell. Like, yeah, a lot of
Mhm.
stuff has to go right there. But same thing in Jacksonville, not gonna lie. Maybe people are saying, oh, Travis Hunter is gonna be part-time player, like he's gonna be wide receiver too. I don't see it, but
I guess
all
this
right.
is an interesting point by Stars. Like, what is the difference in any wide receiver three? Like, what is Tolbert versus Downey Brown? I guess I think I believe in Dak more than I believe in Trevor Lawrence, but
Mm.
I mean, I can understand it for sure, and that's
Uh,
potentially a hole for me.
we've seen Tolbert be good. Like, we've seen it. Now it takes volume, but yeah, Tolbert right now is like around 18 plus type player. Like, when you're correlating, like he's not even someone that we're really drafting. Diami Brown's someone that's rising right now. Uh, I would say give me someone like AD Mitchell who goes later that, in my opinion, has much more upside, especially if the team's losing mid-season. They move a wide receiver piece. Could be a nice little piece on the back end. I'd rather make a bet like that than on Diami's profile, but that's just me. Josh Downs, sort of the wide receiver cliff area, getting pulled up to pick 90, moving up 4 spots, 4% here.
Yeah, I think it's a, as you said, it's like the wide receiver class is a little bit of like a dry area where not a ton of options there, and he's one that there's definitely been positive buzz around Josh Downs in the
Yeah.
past. And but in general, it's like hard to invest in the Colts. Who's going to be their passer? But is he their wide receiver one? Is that I guess he is being drafted as their wide receiver one.
Yeah. Well, Pittman's also up 2 picks. I saw earlier. So
Mm-hmm.
Pittman's at like 98. So less than a full round behind. I think people are just sort of mixing the two. People expect Josh Downs to be the down the field guy. So in best ball, people liking him a little more right now. But yeah, you're getting a bunch of these Colts receivers.
Mhm.
Like we're drafting 4 Colts receivers, which also kind of feels gross when we think about this offense. But Alec Pierce, AD, sort of Spike Lee type guys. Pittman getting positive news about the back, but if there's a flare up there this season, it would be probably very good for the other 3.
Mhm. Let's go ahead and
Yeah,
jump to the fallers too, because I do want to get to the final
I like it.
chart that we
I
have.
like it. Dupe. Top of the list, Caleb down 5.7 picks, Burrow down 2.4, Cam Ward down a little bit, Baker down a little bit. So some of these middle round QBs with Caleb Baker and Herbert are down.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow. I think it's everyone's attempt as like a community to try to push him to the next round of turn. Like I
Yeah.
think we all agree, like shake hands, we're gonna do this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like
And then,
we'll
and
see if we
then
can get him to that next turn. Was it so? Is it rather than the 4 or 5 moving in the 6 7? I think it'll happen,
yeah,
or closer at least.
it is a little closer. But also people are pulling up T Higgs, so you're getting in the middle round. I've seen that. So now you only have to get Burrow to like 64
Mhm.
ish instead of having them go all the way to the to like the 70s. But yeah, I agree. That's obviously that's the reason people are pushing it, and I love to see that. It happens every year with Burrow. Happens every year. Caleb down though about 6 picks. I love backstacking Caleb here at pick 100. A lot of advanced analytics are coming out again saying he was bad last year. We all know he wasn't great. But shit, they gave him enough weapons to make it work this season. So you still in on Caleb, and will you go a naked Caleb backstack with the tight end or even the
Yeah,
receiver in
for
that range?
Yeah, for sure. I've been drafting a fair amount of the Bears. The Bears in total have dropped. Like most of the receivers have dropped. Like I think the entire sentiment around this, like what to do with them, kind of deal, because there's now more pass catching competition, and so on. But like they also have the head coaching lift and offensive coordinator lift. So I like the idea of the Bears a lot, in drafting Caleb Williams. So it's almost
Mhm.
like set up one of them or a couple of them, and if I get Caleb at a value, then I'm awesome. I'm happy with it. And if not, I'm not like going to worry about it. But I haven't really been drafting him naked. Have you?
Um, it depends on the room. It depends on the room. Depends on my team. Sometimes if you have all your receivers with like early QBs and you have like zero correlation heading to the back end of the draft, sometimes I'll just grab one of those middle QBs, like in that Caleb, Herbert, even Baker range, and try to backstack these guys. Just get one QB that I feel really good about, and then move on with the draft. Sometimes you miss on all those early guys. If you start like T. Higgins, a running back, you come back around with like Terry McLaurin, you miss on JD. But you're looking at your team in the middle rounds. You're like, I have no one I can stack with left available. Like I got to find something out and make it work on the back half of the draft. That's
Mhm.
typically when I take these guys if I don't have the correlation, obviously, as well. But I like Baker at this ADP. I don't mind Caleb here. Herbert, we saw Herbert start to run the ball a lot more last season. So I'm in on Justin Herbert too. They add another piece. They add Conklin too, a little mini Gronk. So I like the Herbert price as well.
Yeah, I think guys that are just like in that range where they're not like they run a little bit, they're not prolific runners. So people are looking to like stack these guys, and if you don't, you almost having it's an environment now where if they're not stacking their quarterbacks, you're gonna let it like fall a little bit. And you're looking
Yeah.
at these guys. At least for Herbert, he only has one guy to really stack with.
Yeah.
Baker has a couple guys, so that's
Mhm.
but it's really maybe even it's Mike Evans. You have Godwin there, but then the other two receivers are behind him. So
Yeah.
maybe if there's some like patience or trying to see if they can get
And,
people to fall.
and like K Dot and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I think people are finally realizing like, oh wow, shit, like Staffy's a good pick, like Gino's a good pick. These guys that go later. So It's such a flat tier of QB there too, all the way like to Goff. You can Drake May. There's so many QBs in that range that I'm not surprised you're seeing a couple fall here. Is this like the fourth week in a row we've seen a Browns running back on this list?
I think it's literally been him every time.
still falling. Dylan
Mhm.
Sampson, what do you get when you're right and you guess the Browns RB2? Shit, you need to guess it, and then you need an injury to the number one. That's the upside case there. He's heading towards the last round. I think people are just waiting for information on the Browns backfield, which that's the way I'm playing it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then I agree with that. Taking that Devin Neal. Did you see the clip of him at training camp?
I saw the news on Kendre. I don't want to hurt anymore. What was the clip you're talking about?
Yeah, Devin Neal just looked like incredibly slow, and I'm just like,
the drill they started on the ball.
Yeah, and they did like the spin move. And
he
looked pretty uncoordinated, and I'm like, yikes. So I think there's just been a fair amount of negative sentiment there.
That's why they're doing the drill, though. That's why they're doing the drill
to get better.
I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt anymore on Kendra Miller. Can we just get the news that he pulled his hammy this offseason? Like, I don't want to have to click him again. But maybe I will in the Hound Dog. Hound Dog slow draft might be the way to go there with Kendra Miller. Barkley up 0.1. It's a nothing burger. Genty up, or I'm sorry, down 0.1. Maybe people are going, adding Jefferson in there or their RB of their choice. But Genty down 0.3, back to 9. So people coming back to earth a little bit on Genty, or as part of this, CMC. What do you think with Genty?
I think this is like inverse CMC stuff. You can look at the receivers too. Like it's all CMC. There's like a couple of receivers at the top of the draft that are all, or at the back of the first round, that have all kind of shifted a little bit just because the CMC is getting pulled up.
Yeah. Do we think any of this is because of the coach speak of like he was standing up like 3 inches too tall when he's in the backfield? Like the coach would prefer if he was just down. And then he came out and said, like, yeah, it's nothing to worry about. It's like 3 inches, guys. Like,
if it is because of that, people are reading way too into that level of coach speak.
You never know. People are getting sick with it nowadays. Best ball has become pretty vile with people just searching for info, which is smart. That's how you get on Christian Watson his rookie year. But now everyone's on these guys. So Marion Hampton, he's down 1.4 picks. There's some unknown here with the situation. Everyone assumes he's going to win the job over Najee. It's just at what point. And we know they want to run the ball. I like Hampton at his ADP. He goes right next to
this is like he got directly flipped by Jameson Williams. So that's one.
Got it.
So that counts for like a full pick right there.
Yeah.
I think it's also the puppy season, so those like running backs are going to get pushed down the board a little bit.
I think Mixon. I'm just curious. Is Mixon? I would think he's rising right now, but he's actually just pretty much stayed the same. 0.2.
Holding his value.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I like Hampton as ADP. He's someone that I don't want to be under 8%. I don't know how much I'll get to because I also like going Jalen Hurts in that range too. Hurts seems pretty free right now.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Tight ends, Trey McBride, Bowers, Smith. Not a ton of movement here. You got the Jonnu news. Obviously, we can touch on the threats of trades, but did Jonnu said he wanted some big extension, and now I think he's kind of walked back on his talking because it sounds like they just threatened to move him. So we'll see what happens. I saw there was rumors about Pittsburgh, which would make Pat Fry like he'd be sent right to the 300s. So that's it. That's it. But it makes it really hard to draft Jonnu too right now.
Yeah, no, those are pretty annoying because John, if you want to say they run it back with Johnu, and he's a great pick, just like solid volume with
Right.
when and so on. Like I hope that Dolphins team would be better. I think what he's like, yeah, I want an extension and slash more money. Then they're like, okay, we'll trade you, or you want more money here, we'll put you on the block. But then
That's
he
it.
is like, correct me if I'm wrong, no income tax in Florida. So it's like you get traded. It's more there's like duplicative components. It's like, oh, you can make more
Mm,
money elsewhere, but you get taxed on it, like kind of deal.
yes.
So
Yeah. Right.
I think that he's just like, I think it's a little bit of posturing. I don't think that he's gonna actually get traded. But it
Might
would
be
be such an
might be crazy.
Arthur Smith thing to do to be like, give me 3, 4, 5 tight ends. Like,
Could you imagine if they did move Smith? Like Waddle would get a major boost. Achan would get a
mhm.
major boost. It would be an even more condensed offense, sort of like what we're used to with Miami Dolphins in the past. But I also don't see it happening. However, I'm treading carefully right now. Colson Loveland down 5 picks. Didn't take part in rookie minicamp. We'll see how. I believe it's a shoulder. We'll see how that's doing as the season gets closer. But I want I want to take him. It's just the tight ends behind him even are are pretty juicy, and you sort of know what you're getting with Njoku and Kraft. Those two specifically.
Yeah, I think that Colson Loveland had the like exciting landing spot, and then Tyler Warren had like the uninspiring landing spot. So they had like to be reset. And then Colson Loveland comes in with a dinged up, so he has to kind of fall. But he's in a good spot at this point, and it's kind of like a wait and see. Mix him in at like a moderately reasonable rate. An exciting profile though in general. Like,
Pick 10 in the draft.
yeah, yeah,
That's
super high draft capital on an offense that we like, and probably is the cheapest pass catcher that you can get,
mhm.
of
But
all
now
of them. So
you're also getting positive news about Komet in camp now as well. So you're getting the multi. I think adding
mhm.
to this fall here. But
Yeah, and then Sam Laporta, I think, is the one that's interesting because I think he's in this position. He's in like no man's land. Like he's
yeah,
very much not the elite tight ends, so he doesn't
mhm,
belong up with the Kittle and McBride and
yeah,
Bowers. But he doesn't separate in any way from like Hawkinson, Kelsey's, Johnu, Mark Andrews, and so
even
on. But
Ingram.
he's more
Yeah,
expensive.
right, right.
So like I think he's just like I think he's gonna like trickle down the board as we throughout the summer.
And he has, right? It's just been very slow. And like you said, what's the difference between getting um, Mark Andrews at 107 or having to pay up about 37 picks for Laporta? It's it's very it's very
I mean,
difficult for the price here.
this is we know that these projections right here are just absolute shit and don't actually translate. Go back to that.
Oh, the
Um,
underdogs?
yeah, we know that
Yeah,
those are absolute crap and they're
yeah.
not don't actually translate to best ball scoring. But what is it? What you can say here? It's like 149 versus 138, 136. Like it really is 10 points that we're talking about here. And that's again a horrible number. I would not do not use that. But it's an interesting way to look at it. Like that's what season long projected totals would
Yeah,
theoretically say.
yeah, right. Yeah, it would be relatively close, I believe. Um, but shit, I still haven't clicked him. I think I did it with an Amon-Ra team, and I made it my absolute life goal to get Goff on that team, and we did. But right now, I think you can just wait. He's trickling down. It just depends on your volume, right? If you can do 500 drafts this summer, you could probably wait. If you're only doing 40, you might want a couple, a share or two. Just depends.
Mhm.
2 Houston receivers to top the list of the fallers, and 2 Jags here at the bottom to for fallers as well. Jalen Noel down 10 picks back to 159.
Yeah, so I think that even though they're on the same teams, like I don't think they tell the same story. So like Nico Collins, Brian Thomas Jr., those are both just they moved down each individually down a pick as
Yeah.
CMC. jumped over top of them. So like,
Yes.
I don't think that there's anything more to read into either of those.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Noel, what is it? Which one is it?
I've been going Noel.
Noel.
I think Noel.
I think
Whatever.
it's just like might be kind of a cluttered situation. Had a little bit of like a rookie boost immediately, and there was like it probably reached a ceiling, and then now there's some more reasonableness that's coming into play. I think same story with Travis Hunter. Everyone got super excited. It was like a chase to go draft him, and then there's people are like, "Yo, like that's really expensive."
Or Christian Kirk getting a lot of positive news. I think it was Nico Collins himself that said like, yeah, Kirk's gonna eat. So you're getting, and there's so many receivers here too. It's not like there's 3 guys. We're drafting 4. We were drafting 4 in the top 150. It's very much like McMillan in that range as wide receiver 4 in the team. I'd probably rather just McMillan there. However, some people think Noel could be better than Higgins, and you're getting this discount at 160. So I still do think he's worth mixing in because there's no certainty that he is the number 4 there, where with Tampa Bay, you can at least tell the story a little easier. But there's upside there with, injuries, receivers getting older with Godwin and Mike Evans. So very, very interesting between the two. I agree on the Nico and the BTJ. CMC just popped ahead of him, and that will be enough at 6% or 5.7% to put him on the list here. Travis Hunter got that rookie boost, like you said. Like, we get very excited after the big board. We get them to this point where we put them on a pedestal that they can't go any higher, and then they trickle down. And Mike Leone covers this, I think, almost every year, and he ranks these rookie receivers behind where their current ADPs are most times in the big board, and most times they do trend back to that. I don't know if they get all the way, depending on the players, but they're a little more realistic about their probably their price for their advance rates more so than the upside in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Did you have can you show the Travis Hunter chart, the line chart?
The Google Doc?
No, the ADP from bestballoverlay.com.
Copy. $23 spots of movement since contest open.
Look at that, just initial snap right
But
up.
yeah, that was in 2 days. He went from 63 to 48 in 2 days. So that's 15 picks, right? So
And then
48 to now at 43 is only 5 picks after the first couple days.
yeah, and he went so like by like May 5th or 6th, he was already at like that peak value, and then that stayed stable, and we saw a little trickle down a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. But this site will be available to you guys for free as soon as tonight when it's dropped, bestballoverlay.com. If you guys want an overlay, if you guys want to dive into your portfolio information, promo code Pounders, all caps, and that'll bring it down to $30 a month. Alec, Titans, wide receiver 2. Hayden Wink saying it's Tyler Lockett. Probably right. Probably right. But we got 2 dusty. I still like Ridley, but I'm gonna call him Dusty here. 2 older receivers in this room. Can you make a case for Alec here as like a last round pick, or are you just avoiding?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the same case for or against any of these like speculative wide receiver 3s. I think with him, the only part that he's a rookie, so you don't know what he is. Like we were kind of making fun of De'Ami Brown earlier, but like what really is the difference in terms of the bet, in terms like end of the draft receiver who's going to run routes, like, but he has the theoretical potential of being better than that, and with a quarterback that could be really good. We don't know.
Yeah.
So there's just some like potential that this unknown that's there, but haven't really been drafting him much myself.
Yeah, and that's probably, I'm off of Cam Ward, based on where he goes, but I'm coming around. I think I'm going to be coming around because those guys that went after him, I think even Sam Darnold's starting to move up. Geno, Staffy, they're starting to separate. I think from Cam. So I'll probably get some more as the summer goes on. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's a dart throw. And I do like that we haven't seen him struggle for 4 years in the NFL yet. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Do you want to rip over to the Google sheet? We got like 5-10 minutes here, and
Yeah.
we'll
If
wrap
we
it
if we
all
need
up.
to go longer, I can go longer too. It's whatever schedule you have.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So what I was doing here is just comparing ADPs across the different slates. So we have a BBM, which is like your NFL base season tournament, and then you have the Eliminator,
Mhm.
Marathon, weekly winners, and the Sprint. And then I have a difference on the right hand side, which compares that to the BBM. So like Eliminator difference 1.1. That's 9%.
Got it.
Marathon,
Got
it's
it.
the
Got it.
exact same. And that way you can kind of see like large scale trends at the position. And I thought this was an interesting way to just like look at them. What
Mhm.
I would recommend doing is if you want to filter the position column, so column B, use the filter. It's, nah, don't click on that.
Oh,
Click on like where the click on the word position. There we go. And then clear.
can you tell? Yeah,
And then click
not head of visuals.
now click on QB.
I see. I see what you're having me do.
Okay, cool. So here, what we can
Mm.
say is across the board, quarterback is in the blue, so they're up in this
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
I red is down, blue is up. And I think it's interesting where you see the most is in the weekly winners. And so, what is the weekly winners contest? Is supposed to be
Ceiling.
individual
Yeah.
ceiling upside. So, like, what does that tell you? Is kind of what I was going about this at. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I mean, yeah, you get to see different trends in different contests. And one big one, I guess, I saw here early is CMC, right, at 10.6. But in the elim, he's at 7.3. So people are saying, they're planning for him having this high floor every single week. And we know he could provide that if he stays
Hmm.
healthy. And will last year not playing football basically for most of it, will that hurt him for the following year? Potentially could. But it's his ADPs are all over the place. 10.6 in BBM, 7.3 in a limb, 11 in the marathon, 8.9 in weekly winners, and 11.1. Some of this is the marathon isn't getting drafted too much, but like Genty, I believe Genty started 16 or 17 in the marathon.
Yeah, for sure. I think that so the wide receivers, like if you look on just the wide receivers only, I think that that's interesting. They're down in pretty much every other contest. The
Mm,
sprint holds up some of the guys up at the top, but the ever like weekly winners I think is interesting. But I like just across the board they're down. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was really enlightening to kind of take a look at this, and this is in the it's on my Twitter. I tweeted this out today.
yeah, guys, make sure you follow Billy. Link is in the description of the video. Let me actually, it might not be. I'm going to have to add that right now. However, he has all this information on the Twitter, and you're going to want to sift through it on your own in your own free time because you will find trends that I won't find and that we won't be able to discuss. And when you do, make sure you let us know. I want to know about them. um, but yeah, this is really cool. Thanks for making this, Billy. Was there anything else that you saw in here that was surprising for you?
Um, it was kind of like it was really interesting that the quarterbacks were pushed up in the ceiling tournament of weekly winners. And I don't
Yeah.
know if that was like, that made sense to me. Like, I think that quarterbacks you can get there and like, I don't think of quarterbacks as highly important for the best ball playoffs, but I guess they are.
Yeah.
So that was something that I'm like, wanted to take pause on. I'm not exactly sure what the takeaway is there, but that's one thing that stood out to me.
It's pretty funny that we have such a strong wide receiver bias in like the BBM type concepts, but everything else are like, you got to lean into RB, bro. Like RBs hit the flex more than
Mhm.
receiver. Like RB, like it's kind of funny how much of this is from those other charts you showed about just previous draft history of how people were drafting BBM 4, BBM 5 with receiver early. And you get 1 year where RB stays healthy minus CMC and smashes. And now it's like, all right, everyone changes their strategy. Is it going to flip back? Is it going to fall somewhere in the middle? It'll be
Yeah, go ahead and show RB again. Um, like, why does this make sense? Like that everyone's in the blue. So eliminator, which is floor, marathon, which is total season, weekly winners, which is individual single week like ceiling, and then sprint, which is like distinct season, and then like the entirety of the playoffs. Like how is it they're up in all of those formats?
right, right. Minus BBM.
Minus BBM, which they're the most expensive. Like, how is that? What about BBM makes the receivers particularly more expensive there? Does that logically make sense? Like, my initial reaction says no, but I don't have like a reason why. It just is like, what is so uniquely different to this than everyone else?
Right, right. I mean, sprint and BBM, right, are both 2 out of 12. Advanced, that's where you're seeing the smallest change. Marathon's obviously a completely different contest. Weekly winners, same thing. A limb, same thing. A limb, you're looking for that high floor consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But even I guess the sprint, they're cheaper. Just some of them.
Yeah, I guess that's what this is saying here.
Yeah.
But why does that make sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't. I think this is just sort of what you get when you create multiple different CSVs on the same website, and you're going to get different types of people that draft every single contest. So it could just be, the flavor of the day for the drafters that are in those rooms. Not everyone's going to do BBM, but maybe they'll do the sprint because they like
Mm-hmm.
making the finals 2 out of 12, and then there's no pods. So it could just be who's in these rooms are just different type drafters too.
Yeah, I don't know.
The data don't always make sense. The numbers don't always add up. That's why I have Billy and Billy's big calculator to help me make it all make sense. Guys, now his link is in the info in the description of the video. Give Billy a follow. He's dropping charts like it seems like every week, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to do something like some sort of table or chart. I get a lot on like in that I've already built. It's just a matter of like press and refresh with the right dates. So I'll do like
Hell
by
yeah.
position stuff soon, and yeah. So it's really not that much of a lift.
Right. But you're also covering the teams too, right? And how's that been going with like projecting some of these offenses? Obviously, the ones that don't have like QBs yet going to be harder to project. But how has that been going for your projections?
It's been so like I in general have had like a pretty busy like life the last couple of weeks, which has made it been tough to do. I think now, like I'm trying to do my best to be like totally blind to other people's projections. Like
Mm,
Mike Clay's got his stuff out there, and I want to look at them really badly, but like I'm forcing myself to say no. I'm wondering the real question for me that I'm like struggling with is how deep on the roster do I go? Because I absolutely and like I think Mike personally want to say just like these are like um these players are just like the other buckets. Like after the wide receiver 3 or 4, like do I just stick them in the other bucket and not really care about projecting them? So That's the one thing I'm kind of working through now because I could spend 7 years projecting the wide receiver 7 on some of these teams.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Again, this is what you're going to get with Billy when you follow him on the Twitter machine. Free content, like free stuff that's going to make you better at best ball. And that's why we're lucky to have him on the show weekly on Sundays. You guys appreciate if you hit the like, hit the sub button, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss this show when we go live. And Billy's got meat learning to love Excel again. That's crazy. That's tough. That's tough.
I'm glad to inspire.
That's it. Billy, anything else to flex before you head out?
Nothing else really. I'll come up with some more charts for next week. If you guys have things or data questions for me to research, message me. As always, this is fun, and I got to get my last pug in. That's my plan for tonight.
Oh, shit, me too. Me too. Yeah. Don't get in my room. Don't get in my room. I'm gonna do my late night though. So
yeah, like that's the problem with these small room, like small contests. Like you only have 3 or 5 of them. Like you do want to draft with your friends, but I'm also like, I've only got 3 of these, so like,
yeah, go away.
Stay away, bro.
That's it. That's it. Appreciate you guys. Happy Sunday. Yeah, the Sunday scares are officially here now that the stream's over. If you didn't catch the beginning, make sure you go back, watch that. If you have a minute, leave a comment if you're feeling crazy. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a good night. Pounders.